Okay, we will start in a minute.
No one is on the call.
Just telegram.
Just tell him that no one is here.
You keep this phone on. Start. Hello, good afternoon everybody. I am Dr. Vibha Bafna here and I am a pediatric hemato-oncologist. I am based from Pune and I work as a consultant at Bharati Vidyapeeth Medical College and Jahangir Hospital. This is a photograph of my college and university. So today I will be talking on how to manage nutrition in children with cancer. So parents, when your children get diagnosed with cancer, you know that the hell breaks loose and all of a sudden you're overwhelmed with so many different kinds of emotions. After that a period happens, and then when your doctor assures you that your child will do well, and which is the right thing, most of the children, more than 75% of the children will do well on cancer treatment. So while the doctor is doing his job, and what can the parents do to help your kids? You want to bring your children out. So instead of, having negative thoughts, being angry, being sad, depressed, and having all sorts of thoughts what will happen in the future, it is better to take a positive step and see where you can do your bit. So soon we will see with this presentation how nutrition can help to bring your child out, how is nutrition related to cancer, to a child's growth, and how better nutrition can definitely help your child to come out of this horrible diagnosis. So let's start with my presentation. Okay, so why does nutrition matter? Does it matter at all? So before we go into that, let us see how cancer affects nutrition. Okay, we will see both the aspects of cancer and nutrition. How does cancer affect nutrition and how does nutrition affect cancer? So let me tell you that 50% of the children are diagnosed with some sort of malnutrition with cancer. So either it can be low weight, which is mostly the case, or even in some instances you can have overweight with the diagnosis of cancer. Cancer can in fact cause extreme weight loss, not just weight loss, but even a muscle mass loss. And this is called as cancer cachexia. Not only that, just having cancer itself can lead to a severe loss of appetite, loss of taste. It can cause nausea, vomiting. The treatment of cancer can cause lots of vomiting, nausea. It can cause dryness in the mouth. Many times it causes soreness in the mouth. It causes ulcers. So all that makes a child go away from eating and wanting to eat. And to top it up, at this point of time, the children need more energy and proteins due to cancer host rivalry. So the cancer is growing in the body. Cancer is nothing but cells which refuse to die, and they just keep growing. So this growing cancer, it literally steals the body of all the nutrients, and that's how it doesn't allow your child to grow. It takes away all the nutrition, and on that it keeps growing. Not only that, having a diagnosis of cancer and thinking of the bad outcomes in future, it leads to a severe depression, especially to a little older children and to the parents. And all this definitely affects your food intake. So when we treat cancer, we treat cancer due to 3 modalities. It's mainly chemotherapy, where we give medicines. We give radiation therapy, and we do surgery. So radiation therapy and surgery look at the local control of cancer, whereas chemotherapy looks at the total control of cancer. So chemotherapy works to kill the cancer cells, but chemotherapy cannot make out the difference whether it is a normal cells or it is a cancer cells. So along with killing the cancer cells, it also kills the normal cells in the body which multiply very fast. For example, all your blood cells, your red blood cells, your gastrointestinal cells, your white blood cells, the cells of your nails, skin, hair, etc. And when these blood cells get killed, it also decreases the immune system. It cannot work well, and this leads to infections. Again, infections will not allow a child to eat. It will cause fever and inflammation that decreases the appetite. So, and now let's see how nutrition affects the cancer. So, to begin with, if you have poor nutrition, then it delays wound healing, it delays the drug metabolism. So whatever medicines are given to treat cancer, it disturbs the metabolism. Either it causes more side effects or it does not affect the body. So either ways, it disturbs the metabolism. It causes remember that children are different from adults. So other than the routine cancer scenario, children are people who are growing. So even after they have done with their cancer, they've got treated. If the treatment and the cancer has gone on for maybe 1 year, maybe 2 to 3 years, it hampers their growth in meanwhile. So that is another way. So inadequate nutrition will definitely cause a full stop for growth at this period of time. So if we look after the nutrition, then this can be reversed partially. Nutrition also affects treatment response. So if your child is being treated and he's having poor nutrition, then it's going to cause decreased response to treatment. It affects the quality of life of the child, of the family, and all this affects the cost of treatment. A child who is nutritionally poor will not get better faster, will suffer from infection, and everything is going to increase the cost of care. So let's look at the other way. Good nutrition improves the quality of blood cells, it improves immunity, decreases infections, decreases a hospital stay, it decreases the cost, it improves the quality of life. So as we have already said, nutrition helps strengthen the immune system, and immune system, which is what is absolutely required. And immune system can not just save your child from infections or at least decrease the severity of infection, but it can also kill the cancer cells. So strong immune system depends on adequate nutrition. Remember, parents, that nutrition also helps to keep a good, proper balance of electrolytes. So electrolytes are substances the body needs to maintain the electrical balance and the water among body cells. As you know, water is life. So when the body is properly hydrated, it's going to work. And if your electrolytes are imbalanced, maybe due to vomiting or loose motions, then it is going to affect all the body system. So having proper nutrition, a well-balanced nutrition, balances the electrolytes in the body and keeps our system working well. So what is this when you say nutrition? What is this nutrition? I'm sure all you parents have, looked at this food pyramid. This is a very nice way of explaining how the food has to be taken. You know that foods are divided into groups. The main groups are the grain groups, which is the largest group, which you can see at the base of the pyramid. Okay, this is the grain group. The base is the pyramid, is the largest. That means about 60 to 70% of your total food should be coming from this group. And then the next group is your vegetables and fruits. Okay. Then the next is your protein group. So proteins can be divided from the vegetarian sources or the non-vegetarian sources. Finally, the tip of the pyramid is a small amount, but definitely you need it, is the fat and oils. So these are the main 6 groups of food, and we will see the importance of each and every food. What is it that you're looking for from food? So your body needs proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. So what is the importance of having proteins from your food? So remember that all children need food. All of us need proteins, but proteins are majorly required for a growing child, for the growth and for the tissue repair. But a child with cancer needs 50% more protein than a child of the same age who is a normal child, who is not taking cancer treatment. So a child with cancer, you have to look into their protein intake, and that is the most important part. So as I've already said, protein helps resist infection, it repairs the damaged tissues, and at the side, it is always looking after the growth of your child. So from where do you get proteins? Proteins are from the non-vegetarian sources are the meat, fish, poultry, and the vegetarian sources are the dairy products. That means milk, cheese, butter, paneer. All these are sources of proteins, high proteins, not just amount of proteins, but also good quality proteins. Then you have your pulses, soy, tofu, beans, nuts. Don't forget nuts. Nuts are like your singdana, badam. All these are sources of good protein. So when the treatment is going on for a child, you know, when your child is undergoing chemotherapy, there are periods when he just doesn't want to eat or he cannot tolerate, and then there are periods when he is a little bit better, he's wanting to eat. So that is a time you should take advantage, give maximum food to your child and see to it that he is taking everything. Okay, now as you know, with our normal children, we discourage them from taking things like burgers, fries, pizzas, ice cream, because they are fast foods, they are processed, they have lots of sugars, and they are low in the vitamin and mineral content. But then children are children. Sometimes they will want all this junk food, and remember that though they are not qualitatively very high sort of foods, but they still provide calories and proteins and fats and some nutrients also. So it is okay to give even these foods, but remember that they should be from a good source and they should be absolutely hygienic. So, given a normal diet, now that your child has to take extra protein, so if you have to give a normal diet, then how do you increase the protein content? How do you increase the protein content? So, you can increase the protein content by adding whatever normal food you're giving, by increasing just give me a minute. By increasing the protein content, you can add by making protein shakes. For example, the routine milk will have very high protein, and you can add some extra milk powders, or you can make a egg flip, or you can add nuts, powdered nuts, so that will increase the protein content, or you can have those ready-made protein bars. But in your day-to-day food, you can easily increase the protein content by adding dairy products. For example, you can add some curds or dahi into it, or thick dals, or nuts. For example, ground nuts can be roasted, made into powder, and added in many things. You can also use soy and tofu products. You can use cheese or paneer in sandwiches, any sort of food. You can add melted cheese, or even simple homemade paneer can be added. You can use nuts, as I've said, on so many things. For example, any cereal, ice cream, your breakfast dishes. People who eat non-vegetarian food can add chopped or cooked meat or fish to the vegetables. Even eggs can be added to so many kinds of foods. So now coming on to carbohydrate and fats. So carbohydrate and fats are required in large quantities, and they are the foods which are the petrol for a running engine. So they are the sources of energy for your child, and it is the most important basic kind of nutrients we require from our food. Carbohydrates are present in your grains. The common grains that we use day to day is wheat or rice, and all sorts of foods like breads, chapatis, rice, bananas, potatoes have lots of carbohydrate, good quality carbohydrates. And it is very important to see that your child's diet has sufficient carbohydrates, because if the carbohydrates are going to be less, he is going to burn his proteins to make energy. So body is going to decide that the energy is the most important. So the body is going to get its energy from whatever source. If you don't provide enough carbohydrates, then it's going to burn proteins. And as you've seen that we need proteins not for energy, but we need it for growth and tissue repair. So it is very important to see that you give enough carbohydrates to your children. Children also need additional calories when they are going for their growth, for their day-to-day activities, and the fact that they are burning more calories. So what are the good sources of carbohydrate? As I've said, grains, cereals, and fats. So fats also give us energy, but they are more concentrated than the carbohydrates. The routine sources of fat in our Indian diet is ghee, all sorts of oils, butters. Again, nuts are very rich in oils, fish, poultry, etc. It is, when you're using carbohydrates, it's better to give them in unprocessed carbs. For example, your whole wheat, the rice you make in your house, or the chapatis that you make out of wheat flour. And the processed carbohydrate is, for example, white bread, or maida, for example. So noodles, pastas, pizzas made out of maidas. They are not as good sources of carbohydrates because they are very poor in fiber. It is very important to get fiber, because that is going to keep your child's bowel moving. If the fiber content decreases, then your child is likely to get constipated, then he may have ulcers. Sometimes his constipation will lead to lots of abdominal pain, and if the child is also neutropenic at that point of time, it can cause serious infections. Now coming on to vitamins and minerals. So vitamins and minerals are extremely essential. They are required for many enzymatic process in your body, but they are required in small quantities. The extremely good source of vitamins and minerals are your whole range of fruits and vegetables. And a normal healthy diet gives enough vitamins and minerals. So parents are Sometimes they are always demanding that we write vitamins and mineral supplements. But let me tell you that there is no need for that. Your child will get vitamins and minerals from these sources. You may feel that the child is eating less, so it's better to give a supplement, but this is not the case. Even small amounts of vegetable and fruits will give enough vitamins and minerals. And let me tell you that there are some vitamins and minerals which will not go well with your cancer treatment. So you must take your treating doctor's advice whenever you are giving these vitamins. If you take them by on the counter and give it on your own, this may be not correct. So always take your doctor's advice or even your nutritionist's advice in that case. So now coming on to antioxidant foods. So antioxidant foods, basically these antioxidants are very important in removing the extra oxygen radicals, the free oxygen radicals. They are there in very deeply or brightly colored fruits and vegetables like spinach, tomatoes, blueberries, oranges. They also include vitamin C, E, lycopene, selenium, carotenoids. Antioxidants can be used before or after chemotherapy administration. So all your beautifully, you can see the slides, beautiful colored fruits and vegetables, your deep purple grapes, your red strawberries, all these have lots. They are factories of antioxidants, and you should always give them your red and yellow bell peppers. Okay. So then, what are the goals of your nutrition therapy and how will you achieve these goals? Basically, your nutrition therapy, it is a very important part of the cancer treatment, and you should always rely on your doctor and your nutritionist who is trained in nutrition for children with cancer. The goal is to reverse if deficiencies are already present, preserve the lean body mass. So guiding for nutrition is one aspect, and monitoring your nutrition is also one of the important aspects of nutrition therapy. So at very regular intervals, they will measure your weight, height, your muscle mass, and that is how they will see to it that your child is doing well, and accordingly they will keep on guiding you for the correct nutrition. This nutrition helps children tolerate treatments. It minimizes nutrition related side effects and complications. It maintains strength and energy. So when your strength and energy is maintained, your quality of life is good and a child is happy. As we've already said, it protects immune function, it decreases the risk of infection, it aids in recovery and healing. It minimizes tissue damage to all the organs of a body, including heart, lung. And how do you achieve these goals? As I've said, you have to take your doctor's advice, nutritionist advice, and they will guide you towards the right nutrition. Sometimes when the need is, they will give you supplements for nutrition. So these supplements are ready-made, your ready-made materials, ready-made tins of high protein, high calorie as is the need, which can be added to water, milk, or even routine food, and this will supplement your child's diet. So again, the requirement will be monitored whether the child is doing well. Sometimes in some cancers or during some periods of cancer treatment, if the child is extremely off food, he refuses to feed by the oral route, that we may have to resort to a feeding tube. So whenever your doctor suggests that your child needs a feeding tube, so always cooperate with your medical team because they know the best for your child. Many parents are averse. They don't want to put a feeding tube because the child just doesn't want. They will cry, they will say no, they will say, oh, I'll eat. But if the doctor is suggesting, remember that there are many more reasons, and once you get used to the feeding tube, then you will only see the advantage. It is for you to see. And please cooperate at that point of time. Sometimes, very rarely, when even feeding tube, when nutrition cannot be given through the normal GI route, your doctor may suggest to give parenteral nutrition, so which is a nutrition which is planned and given through a intravenous route, through the IV route. Okay, now we have seen that what should be the normal nutrition, what is the importance, what are the different nutrients that are available in the food, what we should concentrate. Now, there is another big chapter about nutrition, which is the safety of nutrition. Now, this is something very specific to children with cancer. That is the diet during neutropenia. What is neutropenia? As I've told you, that when you give cancer treatment, when you give chemotherapy, all the child's blood cells fall down, and one of the blood cell is known as the neutrophils. The role of the neutrophils is to fight the body. It's a defense mechanism. It's to fight the bacteria and fungi which may invade your child's blood cells. So, during the cancer treatment, when the neutrophil count falls down, that means the child is now at a high risk for getting fever and infections. So that is when we say they are the periods of neutropenia. Now it has been seen that many foods, especially raw foods or unsafe water, have these harmful bacteria and fungi which will easily find access into your child's body when the neutrophils are down. So when the guards are sleeping, the enemy will attack. Okay, that is exactly the analogy. Now this picture is showing you some beautiful neutrophils which are all ready to act. So it's not just the neutrophils. Sometimes when there is chemotherapy going on, the integrity of your skin, mucous membranes, the vascular supply to the tissues, that will also cause increase in the chances of getting infections. Okay, so what are the dietary restrictions at that point of time? As we have to be sure that we not only give a nutritious diet, but we give what is known as a safe diet to your child. And how do we ensure that? That means your food should not have any bacteria or fungi as far as possible. So there are good guidelines about how to have a safe diet for children with cancer. So the four main parts are that you have to cook the food thoroughly, you have to keep the food separate. For example, in your refrigerator or wherever you keep food, the raw food should be stored separately from the cooked food. As soon as the food is cooked, you should refrigerate promptly. Before giving it to the child, again bring it to boil and cook and clean thoroughly. So if you are bringing your vegetables and fruits, they have to be cleaned, cooked and given to your child. You should not be giving any raw or uncooked food to your child. Water, in our country, water is the main culprit. So please take care that your child gets safe water to drink. Okay? Other than that, remember, wash hands and wash hands. You should know properly how to wash hands. Not just the child washes his hand before eating, but whoever is preparing the food should be washing thoroughly his or her hands, washing the fruits and vegetables thoroughly. Raw meat should be handled with care. Cook your meat properly. It can happen that the center of the meats remains uncooked, and that can be extremely dangerous for your child. So see to it that you cook your foods properly, boil your milk properly. If you are eating away from home, then see that you avoid all uncooked foods. For example, salads or cut fruits or eggs which are half boiled, and water should be boiled, as I said. Remember, these are all the different sorts of cleanliness. See that your nails are clean, that you're bathing every day, you're washing your hands properly and bringing all your foods to a boil. After the food comes to boil, it should be kept bubbling for 1 full minute. Okay, eating, as a rule, eating home cooked food is the most important thing, because you know what you have done. If you eat food from outside, from anywhere, then you never know whether it has been cooked properly. So eating fresh home cooked food. If you are using the food after some time, see to it that you bring it to boil again. Please, for heaven's sake, avoid all these unhygienic foods. Okay, because you know the standards of care, how these vendors who are staying on the street, even nice, good, normal, healthy people can fall sick with all these kinds of food. So please, though they are very tempting, stay away from all these foods. Okay, now we will look at just small practical tips how you can make your child eat properly. Remember, your child, you have to be flexible and please never force. Give them small helpings, decorate your food, encourage them to finish and have a positive attitude. So if your child has finished his food, then you must give him good to encouraging word. But if he hasn't, please don't scold or put some names on him or be angry. Understand your child that he may not be feeling like eating. And you have to be flexible. For example, you have in your head that these foods are like breakfast foods, but you can sometimes use that breakfast food for meals also. Your child insists that he wants only poha for lunch. So you can do that. You can make your poha as healthy as possible. Add nuts, add vegetables, add oil, and you have extremely good quality food for your child ready. Remember that children after chemotherapy, they have taste changes. They have metallic taste in their mouth and they just don't feel like eating food. So you have to change, innovate. Make your meal look appetizing, tempting. You can sometimes change the color of your food, the texture of your food. Okay, the baby foods, like how you fed your children when they were babies. So you puree your food, strain it, and then to increase the nutrient content, add butter, ghee, oil for carbohydrates, or add protein powders for increasing the protein content. Remember that good ice creams or milkshakes which are hygienic or made at home, it can be good. The children are very happy to eat ice creams, and even in ice creams you can add lots of fresh fruits and dry fruits. Giving them all the time, if you give them milk, they may not want to drink milk. So instead you can give dahi or lassi which has been flavored. So you'll have to use lots of small ideas. Remember fruits. The fruits are not cooked. So you can give only fruits whose skin is discarded. For example, a banana. According to me, banana is the best food for your baby because it has this thick skin and it has this thick skin. It has lots of good fiber. It is very good in taste, and it has lots of potassium, lots of calories for your child. Small amounts of meat in a broth or puree after cooking or grilled fish can be offered. All vegetables can be cooked with light spice, puree strain. So these are the ways that you can make your food tasty. Okay. Don't forget water, don't forget fluids, because water is the main vehicle where everything works. So your juice, soups, milkshakes, all also have water. So offer plenty of fluids to your child. Fluids help increase the urine output in the child, and with the urine it throws away all the toxic waste. So never forget fluids. Your children of all ages, right from 2 years, in the language that they understand, you can keep on explaining them in a positive way that how eating properly and how cooperating with your parents can help them to get over this problem. So explain the role of good nutrition to children in the way that they will understand, and positively reinforce good practices. As always, last but not the least, take advice from trained nutritionists, because they will monitor your child, they will give you advice what is to be given more, they will also give you tips how to increase your child's intake, what to add, what to subtract, and they will take you through this journey. Okay, so here are some tips again from a nutritionist. This is slides from Cuddles Foundation, and they have given us nice beautiful ideas. So your cup of milk, you can see that you can add protein powders that will increase the protein content of that. See, they have given a beautiful picture of poha, which you can add nuts and vegetables. Again, upma, where you can add everything. You can make nice sweet rava kheer. So these are all options for breakfast. And then you can look at meals, where the simple roti and egg has been now converted into nice, good, great looking chapati rolls. And the simple dal rice can be enhanced with either eggs or even dahi to increase their protein content, and some more options. You can see that roti and some vegetables have been converted into rolls, and into these rolls you can add everything. You can put paneer, you can put so many nuts, and that's how you can increase the content. You can see that this rice and vegetables have been converted into a very nice looking pulao for your child. As I said, that fruits which can be peeled, so bananas, as I said, are best, and there are some other thick skin fruits which can be given. These can be taken as in between meals and snacks. Okay. And then again you will require, children can require about 5-6 meals in a day. They will need small snacks. So these are very good options for snacks. For example, nuts and chanas. Then you can make chivda. This is homemade chivda, which is made out of poha, which is a good source of carbohydrate. You can add nuts to it. And these are some homemade laddus. Laddus can be a great source. You can make them out of groundnut. You can make them out of til. Add ghee to it. You can add dry fruits. And again, there are some packaged, tetra-packed things like milkshakes, Amul lassi can be given to the child. Then the packed chickpeas. Chickpeas are a very good source, but remember that your child's teeth and mucous membrane are intact. So friends, just to summarize, remember that it's important to give good, nutritious, high-calorie food to your child and a high-protein diet. Then food safety guidelines should be followed. So remember, your food should not only be nutritious, it should also be very safe for your child at all the times to prevent infections as far as possible. Because if your child gets infections, then that will delay your cancer treatment. Because if he is sick, then it will not be possible to give him your cancer chemotherapy. We will have to wait, treat his infections, then go on with your treatments. So prevention of infection is extremely important. Thank you very much. So I would like to take questions if you have any. Okay, so when Mr. Mahale has asked that what is the best vitamin for the child suffering from cancer. Actually, there is no best vitamin as such. The vitamins, all vitamins are required, and they are best given in the packaging what God has given. So you don't need to give vitamin supplements. Your wide range of vegetables and fruits are the best source of vitamin. Okay, then somebody is asked, can eating organic food help? Yes, organic food is a very good idea, but as of today it's prohibitively costly, and not just that, but it is not easily available. So if available, yes, but if not, don't let it prevent you from giving the normal food. So Ms. Sonam has asked that which type of food is promoting. So the relation between food causing cancer is not yet established. So there are some ideas, it may be there, but then it's very far-fetched. So the cause of cancer is not so simple, that whatever you eat or you don't eat causes cancer. All the parents worry when the child is first diagnosed with cancer. They want to know whether they have made any mistakes. Why should there such a young child get cancer? So that is not the case. It is not so easy. Definitely, as of today, there is no role of any foods causing cancer. How can I boost my immune system to fight with cancer? So this Mrs. Anjum has asked. So I think immune system, staying healthy, drinking a lot of water and fluids, and eating a wide range of food which is also safe can keep your immune system up. So any more questions? Okay. Thank you for your comments. Mr. Gupta, Mrs. Shah, thank you for your comments. Any more questions? Okay. So if these are all the questions, then I would like to thank all the viewers who were there today and who have heard this talk. Before I sign off, I would like to thank CAF, Cancer Aid and Research Foundation, Ms. Tabassum, who has been contacting me since the last fortnight and, bearing with all my problems of being busy, but she has persisted and, seen to it that this talk happened. I would also like to thank Mr. Anoop, who has been suffering all my technological inadequacies and still being persistent and having set up the technology. Thank you, Mr. Anoop. Friends, I would also like to tell you about the next talk, which is going to happen on 22nd, that is the next Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon. And Dr. Tushar Patil is going to be with us, and he's going to tell us about lung cancer. So Dr. Tushar Patil is a young, dynamic medical oncologist. He is from Pune as well, and he has trained in Pune, Mumbai. He has trained as a medical oncology in Gujarat, and he's attached to many hospitals over here. He runs many trials for patients with cancer. So with this, I would be calling today's session off. Thank you very much. So there are some more questions. Shyavan,